Did you know that 90% of agencies aren't actually profitable? Sure, they make revenue, but after they pay their team and all their expenses, they're left with nothing. They're working for free. So why does this actually happen? At the start of my career, I specialized in helping insolvent or bankrupt agencies become profitable again. And in pretty much all of those cases, they were making the same 3 mistakes. In this video today, I wanted to explain to you what those 3 mistakes are, how you can fix them, and share with you a checklist that allows for your agency to be as profitable as possible. But to explain the first mistake, I wanted to take you to your favorite place in the world, the dentist office. While you're there, the dentist is working on your teeth, you realize that you have a pain in your foot as well, and you ask the dentist, hey, can you actually just look at this problem that I have going on over here as well? And unless your foot has teeth, and hopefully you don't, the dentist is likely gonna say no because that is outside of their area of expertise. But again, that's what so many agencies are doing. Yes to too many things that are ultimately outside of their purview, outside of their lane, which results in them becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none. It ends up creating a situation where you're stretching yourself too thin because now you've got to learn all of these new things in order for you to be able to execute on the thing that you promised. And so you have to figure it out in order to actually do this new thing. So the result is you burn out, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're trying to figure out how to keep your head above water. The solution is simple, is remain focused on the things that you are incredible at. This results in the ability to be able to have an incredibly simple process that you can delegate to others because you know this like the back of your hand, and build a network of partners that relate to the exact problem and the exact person that you work with and that you're able to help. This creates a situation where you've got over-the-moon clients ecstatic because they've achieved the outcome, and to boot, your agency is incredibly profitable. So if you're a dentist, don't start operating on people's feet, because I guarantee you, it is gonna end in tears for everyone. You decided that you want to sign up for a new gym, and you show up there to sign up, and you've got your bag ready to go ahead and work out. But when you're there signing the contract, they tell you, hey, I need $5,000. There's an initial sign-up fee. And you think, oh, why? This isn't a normal thing. Why would I need this $5,000 upfront cost? And you say, I don't have this available money. It doesn't make sense to do this. So you leave. On your way home, you stop at a pizza joint because you're hungry. And while you're there, you order a pizza, but yet they say, sorry, nope, you can't just have this pizza. You actually have to sign up for the subscription service so that you can have access to every single food within this restaurant. What is this alternate reality that I'm living in? I can't just get what I want, and I don't have the money for the things that they're trying to sell me, and it doesn't make any sense. But again, that's what so many agencies are doing. They're basing their pricing model on what another agency is doing, or what something else that they read online, or what they believe they should do and what they want to do, rather than actually considering what is applicable in this situation. And so this ends up with unhappy clients or not being able to actually convert them into paying clients because it doesn't make sense. And because you're not able to convert as much, you are less profitable as a result. So here's a direct example of this. Client started, they had a $12,000 upfront cost to build a site for their clients. They worked with really small businesses. Most of them do not have $12,000 lying around. They just needed to shift the way that they were looking at it. They still needed to charge $12,000 plus to allow for them to be profitable, but how could we augment this to allow for them to be able to do this? So what we ended up changing, the way that we functioned, is selling a $1,750 monthly cost, creating a much smaller initial tranche of investment for them, making it more feasible to the business, which was feasible in this example, allowing for them to have ongoing payments for this project. They stretched out the length of the initial launch, which, as you all know, if you're in web design, it takes a couple of months to launch this. It allowed for them to actually be profitable within that first few months as well. What this did for this agency is it actually allowed for a greater amount of sales conversion because they had a smaller tranche or first step in the relationship. It also made the business more sustainable because now they have this book of business of monthly retainers. And because they had extended their lifetime value years later to 3 years of an average client lifetime, they were able to make 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money on every single site that they built for the exact same amount of work, making them more profitable. So here's what I want you to think about. I want you to look at your clients, and I want you to look at you and what it is that you do and what makes sense between the two. Find an equation that makes sense to allow for them to be able to make a commitment in this new relationship. So in other words, if your client is asking you for a pizza, please do not sell them a monthly subscription. And if you are interested in how your agency compares to everyone else, you can download our free agency industry report in the description. Let's say you go out tonight and you end up ordering an Uber or a cab on the way home. But on the way home, you decide, hey, instead of actually going here, we're going to go to this other place that's 30 miles further. And on the way there, I want you to make this 15-mile detour to go pick up a friend on my way home. And without a doubt, I guarantee you that you're going to be charged more for that trip, right? But for some reason in this industry, we just don't do that. We end up being too nice and saying yes to extra questions, extra needs. In this example, you've got a client that says, hey, there's this design that you've done for a campaign, but can you make it into 12 different versions for every single different type of media channel that we have? That wasn't the initial request. Or they end up paying, hey, there's this random deck and I know that we've only paid you for this brand, but can you actually spruce this up and apply the brand elements to this? And you think, yeah, it's a small thing. It shouldn't take too long. But let me tell you, each one of those things add up in time. And so what we really need to do is we need to learn to respect ourselves. We need to have boundaries with our clients. With the taxi cab, we are charged for their time, for their miles, and the same thing is true for you. It is a service that isn't infinite, and it shouldn't be treated as such. And there's boundaries that we've committed to the moment that we entered into that vehicle. And the same thing is true for your clients, but yet we let them do whatever they want inside our business. Why? So what we really need to do is define the scope, be very clear of what's included and what's not, so that you're not ending up in a place where you're able to add on extra to the client's engagement that's going way out of scope and causing your business, your agency, to be less profitable. So let's be focused on what the client's results are and exactly what the scope needs to be so that your agency can be profitable. But before you start worrying about profitability, you need to be generating enough business in the first place. So I want you to check out this video where I explain how to generate 500 leads a month while you sleep.